Well, boys and girls, I'm starting this outside today just to show you that I do go outside at least once a year. And only because little old Iggy is over there. And we called him that name. It was 3 years ago in June. He popped out of nowhere. Iggy Pop? Yes. Right, Iggy? You're my buddy. Hey, Iggy. Yeah, you're a good boy. So what we have today, oh, sorry, don't mind my jewelry. It just makes it quicker and easier to pick out when I need it. And I'm going to need it for what I'm about to show you. There's Alfie. Hi, Alfie. This is a module that I have drooled over enough to produce more liquid than the Mississippi River in the U.S. or the Danube off in, where's that? In Alberta or something. Look, we're even going to let Grandma next door, who's not mine, even though she says Merry Christmas sometimes, listen to what I'm about to show you. Now, the Grand and Honorable Serge Tcherepnin, and I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, many a year ago came up with the universal slope generator. Now that guy, you can tell him to rise and fall or slower. Rise, fall, and in different shapes. Rise, fall, or rise, etc., etc., and on, etc., whatever, and many fancy words. At least, this guy, and that is only one of him, there's 4, can do at least 15 different things. Now, if you get into finer detail, it's probably 8 or 9. But how many other modules on this planet from anyone else, and I shan't mention any book-lad names, sorry, smoking, can do that? Others claim, etc., 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 but sorry, in my personal humble opinion, Serge Tcherepnin has created some of the most powerful modules, non-digital shit. Oh, sorry, I fucking swore. I know I've done that many times, and I've repeated that same sentence many times, so I'll just smoke my cigarette. In the analog world, who else has done that? Well, I don't know. There's someone puts out something called Maths, and it does lots of stuff, etc., etc., etc. But it's different. It's powerful, yeah, I'll granted that, but I don't know. It doesn't tickle my fancy. Maybe it should if I had one, but anywho. So this video doesn't become 33 minutes long. Let's start seeing what this guy does. Now, I won't be able to explain every function in one video because we're already at 3.5 minutes. So what I'm going to do, this is going to be from memory. Remember, I'm getting old. See all these gray hairs? Yes, I'm getting old. So off the top of my noggin, I'm going to pull one of these guys out of my hat. See, here comes out of my hat. It's not a rabbit. You don't want to know what else comes out of my hat. We're going to use number 3. He's got a nice blue LED. Say the hell with that. Let's use number 4. He's got a nice green LED. The other 3 are blue, but he's the weirdo. So we'll plug into... They have 2 inputs. Now, I hope this makes as much sense as possible because I'm going off on whatever whim. Next thing I'll be telling you where I lived until I was 33 years old or something. Older than that. Let me get rid of this evil cigarette. It causes cancer, you know. If I had titties, I'd wear one of those pink ribbons as well. Well, I do have titties, but they're only A cups. But that's another story. So here we go. Inputs and outputs. I don't color mine the way Serge does because, well, in that regard, to me, he made some really strange way he does things. For me, digital inputs are black. Digital outputs are white. Makes it simple. Input, output. I'm plugging a cable into his trigger. Dink, dink. Input. his output is also a trigger. If you feed the output back to the input, watch this LED, he becomes an LFO, and he's not doing anything. Let's turn up his speed. There we are. Now, if you look at this fancy thing, it's fancy. LaCroix. It must be French or something, yes. Oscilloscopy. Isn't that how you pronounce that? Oscillio... Oh, yeah, it's not Italian, sorry. Oscilloscope. Anywho, we've got him plugged in somewhere.
Papa.
Got him plugged in right here. So let's take him, plug him to the DC, above ground output of this guy. So he's functioning as an LFO. Now, you know in a low frequency, it rises and it falls, right, etc., etc., etc. That's how he's set up right now. Function, let's call it function number 1, low frequency oscillator. There's 2 knobs here. There's 3, but these 2 we'll talk about. This one is for rising, how quickly it does. And this one, number 2, is for how quickly he falls. Yes, look, the floor. So I'll point you at this, and I'm going to increase how quickly it rises. See that? Sort of a triangle. I'll increase it all the way. And now it's become a sawtooth. Why is that? Is that weird? Now let me increase the falling time. Decrease, the falling time of the waveform. See? See? Nice and fast, yes. It doesn't go above human hearing. Its top end range is about 5,000 hertz or something, but its bottom end is minutes. Absolute minutes. That's why I have so many gray hairs, because I like these modules. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Now, rise and fall. I just lowered down the fall. Let's slower down the rise. Make them more into a triangle. Speed it up a little bit, make them more even, so you can see it on the screen. Oop, wrong one. Fall. Slow down rise, speed up rise, slow down rise. Blah. I'm just trying to make it even. There, triangle. Now, it's all nice pictures and everything, I know, etc., etc., etc. So, we're going to take the scope input, instead put them in the AC out instead of the DC out. Now on the scope you can't tell any difference, so who cares? Now look, nice long cable. Oh, look at this. Fruit of the loom. Quality. Nice long cable from around my neck. Let's plug him into the DC output. And we'll go up here to one of Ray Wilson's wonderfully super precise 1 volt per octave oscillators on my nice color panel. Let's take his sine wave. I'm doing the wrong thing. Take him out of there before I burn my power supply. DC out of the triangle LFO into control voltage input. And now so we can hear things that are going on, I'll grab another long cable from around my neck. The DC, the modulation patch cable is hooked up. Let's plug into the sine wave output, because it's nice and polite and it won't frighten Grandma next door. Plug him into here that I do have set up. Give it some volume. Now, I'm just going to show you the screen, because that modulation frequency is very fast. I will slowly turn up the amount of it on the oscillator as you look at the screen. Now let's look at the knob. Now let's slow it down. Now I will show you the oscilloscope. Oh, that's speeding it up, sorry. set at its absolutely slowest rate, I'd run out of battery power in the camera before you'd hear it do a cycle. Let's increase the speed of the rise. I did that and it's not changing. I may have it installed. There. That's changing the rise and fall times of the universal slope generator, using it as an LFO. Let's put it into a nice modulation speed. Oh. Okay, now, these things are also voltage controllable. So let's take, let's take one of the other ones. Let's set this guy up above, up as an LFO also. Make him slow. And let's take his DC output and we'll plug it into the control voltage input of the one that is oscillating right now. Change his, now it's number 2, voltage controlled low frequency oscillator. Let's change the modulator speed. See? That's fun. But to carry on to other things quicker, we'll keep the DC out. No, we'll remove it. There goes that for now. We'll decombobulate the LFOs. And now we're still looking at that scope. No, we're still modulating. Okay. Next thing in mind. Say you are changing voltages. Over here, I've got this sequencer set up. He will spit out a bunch of voltages. Let's plug them in. I have another long cable, voltage output into the oscillator. 1 volt, CV, doesn't matter. Let's start him going. Make them a little more radical. Okay, isn't that a great tune? I'm going to dance to it later when you're gone. Anywho, we've got these notes. They're playing this oscillator. Let's instead take these notes into not trigger in, but gate in. And then let's take what I do with a long patch cable. Oh, my brain hurts. I got a whole bunch here. Let's take that DC output now and plug it back into that oscillator up above. What I'm going to show you now is portamento, function number 3. Control voltage input. Okay, that's what we were hearing before, right? I have no instant time on the fall, instant time on the rise. Rising is going up in voltage. So let's increase the length of time it takes to go from one voltage up to a higher one. Here it's only taking time to go voltage up higher, but not to drop. Let's change that to taking time going down in voltage. See? Sure. That, theoretically, is functions number 3 and number 4, but it's really non-voltage controlled portamento for both directions. Now, let's take a control voltage input. We'll make this bottom guy oscillate again. Oh, first, we can take... Now this is modulating up there. See if it'll do the same from the AC output. It's close enough. If we take the DC output and plug it right back into the CV input of the same unit, we can change the shape of how it falls and rises. It'd be falling like or falling like or rising. Turn up the voltage control. Let me slow them both. I'm looking to see if we can see it on the scope. Now, because I'm using both the inputs. There's also a switch so that you can voltage control only the rise or only the fall. Okay, that gives you that rough idea. Where am I? 17 minutes. This has taken a long time. So before we go, I'll show you one more really quick. Let's get rid of that guy playing his nice voltage. And this is the control voltage. Goodbye. There's tons more to show. This could take hours and days and maybe till next January or something. So I'll unplug him. Our audio output is coming right now from the sine. Let's plug him into the AC output. And take a long cable again. Which I got caught around my chair. Let's take a nice, bright output. Sawtooth, yes. We'll turn him down an octave or two. 1, 2. Now, let's put him into the gate input, which is also an audio input. And at the moment, there he is. Now this I can get on the scope also. That is the sawtooth coming in. I'm going to turn up the rise control and watch what happens. And listen. Sort of like a cheap filter. Oh, this is turning down the fall speed. Here, let's get closer to the speaker. Oh. Yeah. That's a much better, oh, speaker's here. I'm plugged into the wrong speaker. Shit! Where's the audio output? Oh well, it doesn't matter. It's too late now. Voltage controlled filter. It also operates like. No resonance, but I remembered an idea that I had sometime last year of seeing if I could fake it in the universal slope generator to give its filter resonance. I'm going to try that and see if it works. I haven't heard of anyone else doing it, and if it doesn't, so what? I've still got 59 other functions it'll do. Anywho, where are we? 20 minutes. I hope I have time to upload this. There's a million more things this thing can do. Pitch tracking, trigger and gate delay. And of course I'm drawing a blank now at what else it can do. These damn things, what's it doing in my hat? Anyway, I'm going to wander away and upload this thing, and I hope you like. It's not as funny as all the other ones have been, but at least I showed you what I think is one of the most powerful modules on the planet. Oh, I completely forgot. Ken Stone of CGSSynth.net is fully authorized to sell Serge Universal Slope Generator PCBs, extended ADSR EGs, the negative slope PCB, the 1973 voltage controlled filter PCB, and there might be other stuff coming, and they're cheap. Far cheaper than some other company that had bought Serge from Serge Tcherepnin in '86 is charging for what they're putting out. Yes, I know, they're military quality, blah, blah, blah. That's highly debatable. But it's just my opinion. I build this welfare stuff, see, like this, really cheap and everything. But when it's functioned for 7 fucking years, I don't think I build too bad. And my modules don't cost $1,000 a piece. With a PCB for 2 of these guys for $30, $20 in parts, your building time, $50, you got 2 of them. Go order some. Tell them Uncle Rick sent you. Okay, where's the bloody button? Bye, kids.